WWE fans, it's time to wake up to the harsh truth. We've all been played in the biggest way imaginable. Everything that happened at Money in the Bank wasn't just an unexpected twist. It was a masterfully executed deception orchestrated by none other than Roman Reigns. Jacob Fatu's apparent betrayal of Solo Sikoa, which sent shockwaves through the WWE universe, was not a rebellion. It was a carefully crafted chapter in a much larger plan. Roman Reigns was never out of the picture. He was lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and last night on SmackDown, he revealed that every chaotic moment we witnessed over the past few weeks was just the beginning of his ruthless strategy. From the very second Jacob Fatu emerged and attacked Solo at Money in the Bank, fans believed we were witnessing the collapse of the Bloodline. Social media erupted, speculations ran wild, and the WWE Universe debated whether this was the end of the Samoan dynasty. But in reality, it was a brutal test, a test of loyalty, unity, and purpose, devised by the tribal chief himself to weed out weakness and ensure the Bloodline's rebirth as a stronger, more dangerous force than ever before. Roman Reigns, ever the master manipulator and chess player, used the chaos to his advantage, setting the stage for a return that no one could have predicted. And then came SmackDown. Solo Sikoa walked to the ring with the weight of betrayal on his shoulders, pouring his heart out to the WWE Universe in a raw and emotional promo about regaining his honor and proving his worth. The crowd watched silently, many moved by his vulnerability. But then, the lights went out. The entire arena was plunged into darkness. Tension built like a storm about to break. And when the lights returned, it wasn't Solo who stood tall, it was Jacob Fatu, fierce and unapologetic. He stared down Solo before coldly tossing his torn lei to the mat, a brutal symbol that Solo's time as enforcer had come to an end. And that was only the beginning. The familiar music of Roman Reigns then echoed through the arena, and the energy in the building shifted instantly. Fans erupted as the tribal chief made his long-awaited return, flanked by none other than Jimmy USO. Together with Fatu, they stood side by side at the top of the ramp, and the message they sent was unmistakable. This is the new Bloodline. The trio entered the ring, surrounding Solo like sharks circling prey. Roman grabbed the microphone, looked into the camera, and declared, "You wanted a real Bloodline? You're looking at it." That one sentence sent chills across the WWE universe. What followed was pure savagery. Jacob Fatu exploded into action, unleashing a barrage of offense on Solo Sikoa. He slammed him through the announce table with a thunderous Samoan drop, leaving him broken and motionless. Roman and Jimmy stood nearby, stone-faced and unmoved, showing no remorse as they watched their former brother fall. This was not just a physical beating, it was an execution. A message. A new order had risen, and there would be no room for disloyalty, hesitation, or weakness. But perhaps the most symbolic moment of the night came after the destruction, when Roman reached down and picked up Solo's discarded vest. He turned to Fatu and handed it to him, a chilling transfer of power. This wasn't just Roman naming a new enforcer, it was the final nail in the coffin for the old Bloodline. Fatu had passed the test. He had proven his loyalty to the chief, not through words but through ruthless action. Solo had been replaced, and the hierarchy was now clear. Meanwhile, the camera cut to Jey Uso, who stood at the top of the ramp, watching the nightmare unfold with conflict written all over his face. His dreams of championship gold had already been shattered by Gunther, and now he was forced to witness the brutal takedown of his brother. The question now looms large. Will Jey follow the path of family, no matter how dark it's become? Or will he stand alone and challenge the empire his own blood has rebuilt? And in the backstage area, Paul Heyman, the wise man himself, was seen in complete disarray. For the first time in years, Heyman looked unprepared, shaken, and overwhelmed. He was seen pacing, sweating, and struggling to keep his composure. If even Heyman didn't foresee the scope of Roman's plan, then no one truly knows how deep this new strategy goes. What else does Roman have up his sleeve? All of this unfolds while Seth Rollins quietly holds the most dangerous tool in WWE, his Money in the Bank contract. As Roman solidifies his new alliance, Seth is waiting for his moment, and the war between factions is only just beginning. Rollins has been gathering allies of his own, and the seeds of rebellion have already been planted. But can they stand against this new version of the Bloodline, one that's colder, more focused, and more violent than ever before? Roman Reigns hasn't simply returned, he's launched a full-scale hostile takeover of his own dynasty. With Jacob Fatu as his newly anointed enforcer and Jimmy Uso fully back under his influence, the tribal chief has reasserted his dominance with ruthless precision. Every move he made, every betrayal we thought we understood, was part of a master plan to purify and rebuild the Bloodline in his own brutal image. This is not the end. This is just the beginning of the next chapter in one of the most intense WWE sagas ever. The Bloodline has evolved. It's more dangerous, more unpredictable, and more united under Roman's iron rule. And the rest of WWE better take notice. Whether it's Jey Uso's internal struggle, Paul Heyman's unraveling nerves, or Seth Rollins lurking in the shadows, there are still pieces left to fall. But one thing is certain. Roman Reigns is not done, and this war is far from over. Don't miss a second of what happens next. Smash that like button, subscribe for full coverage of the Bloodline saga, and turn on those notifications. Because the Tribal Chief's revenge tour has officially begun and no one is safe. WWE fans, everything we thought we knew has been turned on its head. The shocking betrayal we witnessed at Money in the Bank wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment turn. It was part of Roman Reigns' grand design all along. Jacob Fatu's apparent ambush of Solo Sikoa was not a betrayal, but a calculated move in a much larger and far more dangerous scheme crafted by the Tribal Chief himself. And on last night's SmackDown, the truth finally exploded into view. Roman Reigns has once again changed the landscape of WWE, and the aftermath is already sending shockwaves across the wrestling world. For weeks, fans were left speculating. Was Jacob Fatu acting on his own when he took out Solo? Why did Jimmy Uso seem so unpredictable? And where was Roman Reigns during the chaos that followed Jey Uso's crushing loss to Gunther? All those questions were answered in brutal fashion. The Tribal Chief returned not just to reclaim his place, but to reveal that he never truly left. He was simply letting the weak eliminate themselves. And now, with his hand-picked soldiers, he's rebuilding the Bloodline in his ruthless image. It all went down during Solo Sikoa's emotionally charged promo about regaining his honor. The lights went out, and the crowd waited in suspense. When they came back on, it wasn't Roman Reigns who appeared first, it was Jacob Fatu. In a cold and symbolic gesture, Fatu tossed Solo's torn leg to the mat, making it clear that the former enforcer was no longer part of this new Samoan order. Moments later, Roman's music hit, and he entered alongside Jimmy Uso. TVO.